Now, in studio, we have been talking about matters environmental conservation, and I've been having this conversation with Daniel Wanjuki, the CEO of Ecotrade Africa, and we were just trying to understand the science behind Ecotrade, you know, a method that seeks to use bacteria to manage waste. You know, from a layman's perspective, one would want to ask now, does it separate the solid from the liquid, or what really happens? And you've talked about this also being a way of saving water that can be reused for other purposes. Tell us a bit more about how that also, you know, pans out.
Thank you. Once you've isolated the bacteria and now you are able to domesticate it, kind of cultivate it like we do sukuma wiki, and they store it whenever you want, a quantity that you can use on a site. The bacteria uses waste as a source of food. So it's not actually separating water from the waste.
Okay.
It's getting rid of waste. You are left with nothing. You have waste is broken down into water, carbon dioxide, and nitrogen. Therefore, there is no sludge left behind.
There's nothing left.
There's
it
nothing
cleans up everything.
Completely.
Okay.
And the final effluent, the water that comes out of that process is as clear as this water.
Even the sewage water?
Even the sewage water. So, because this only organic material, what you're calling waste, solid waste, is actually food that went through your stomach but didn't get to be digested. And the bacteria is able to thoroughly break down anything that is organic, including petroleum oil. I'm thinking of diesel, grease that can come from a car wash site. It's broken down to water, nitrogen, and carbon dioxide. So having no sludge, it means you can now repurpose this water for reuse. As you can do lawn irrigation, you can do flushing toilets in schools and in institutions. You can repurpose this water, even you can discharge it on a stormwater drain. I'm using these examples. You're converting that murky wastewater in the septic tank into clean water as a way of actually probing my next argument. That water that comes from Dakaine gets into your house, you flush it 7 liters or so from your septic tank, from your cistern, drives the waste to a septic tank in your backyard. That water has actually not changed.
It is still the same water, but it's polluted though.
Polluted, so polluted by materials which we know. When you add Ecotrade, Ecotrade has a medicinal, an antagonistic effect on microorganism, bad microorganism. So it actually, because of the numbers, the sheer numbers of bacteria catchers in Ecotrade, which I've said is about 2 billion per centimeter cubed, and your E. coli, which would be a contaminant in the water, maybe 100 cells or 100,000 in a centimeter cubed. Therefore means that Ecotrade is in so big numbers. Do they call it the tyranny of numbers? It has the tyranny of numbers that it actually antagonizes other microorganisms and actually eliminates them from the process.
But this water, is it safe for consumption? I'm a bit concerned about that.
It may not be safe. We have not reached there as a country where we can recover that water and use it for drinking.
But it's possible?
But we are treating water to a quality that can go to a swimming pool. You can use it for lawn irrigation. You can use it for car wash. It's only that we don't want to treat it as potable water.
I'm trying to imagine of the bigger picture here. Like, for example, in Nairobi, the amount of water that we need vis-a-vis what is available for us, the ratio there is, there's still a long way for us to go before every resident of Nairobi can actually say that they get enough water that they need for their own daily activities. You know, is this also something you're exploring, like, you know, sort of addressing the water shortage problem in urban centers? Indeed,
yes. We abstract from the Kaini Dam and the Sasomua Dam up to 650 million liters of water every day. When that water lands here in Nairobi, by midnight, that budget is gone. 650 million flushed down the toilet, used in cooking, used in all other activities. We have to get new fresh water from Dakaine. But of this 650 million liters coming to Nairobi, we could recover 400 through recycling and channel it to farming. Because farmers in Kajiado who do flowers require water to do flower farming. But they have to compete with everybody else for the potable water, this clean water, to do farming. Well, we would be able to turn this water, the one that we have used overnight, into what we're calling new water, which is new water. Serfine, I would like to say that I'm actually a member of the International Standards Organization, a standardizing committee at KBC, which deals with wastewater, water and wastewater recycling and recovery and reuse. This is a forum, an international forum, where we are actually developing standards for this, for what I'm arguing about. So this is not a far-fetched idea. It's not me driving the agenda around, but KBC and the International Standards Organization have found a partner who could actually make this faster into the books, standard books. And because we've done several projects that succeeded, and it has given us a platform to actually argue out the issue of water recycling and recovery. And now you're making standards. We have several standards coming in. Soon, if not for COVID, some of them would already be in printed form. Our people should be consuming the new standards for waste management and so recovery and stuff. It's not a Kenyan thing or a EcoSafe thing. It's actually the international.
It's a global agenda.
Agenda is to see the value that is there in wastewater, recovered, reused, and grow the economy. That's how we are going to have sustainable cities and communities. If you don't treat waste as waste just because you flushed it, a few grams of solid waste with 10 liters of water, and that you call a waste, and it ends up in the river, making our rivers unsustainable. We're not able to support life. So we are looking at a new way of approaching waste and giving it value.
Don't let waste go to waste.
Exactly. You don't waste your waste.
All right. So in terms of policy, Daniel, in our country, do you think we have concrete policies that would support the agenda of waste management?
Surprisingly, we have policies that allow for wastewater recycling and reuse. But the statutes, those laws that are there, most of them are in NEMA, the Environment Management Authority. But they are in their statutes, they are in documents. I can issue you a document from NEMA. I'm a lead expert, registered in NEMA. I can issue a document allowing you to discharge wastewater into your nearest river. But the public health in the same government doesn't even imagine that happening. We call it the Water Act, the Public Health Act, Cap 243. It's a very old piece of law, and that didn't imagine that Africans would be able to manage their waste in a good way. And so, and they also saw like there was a disease lacking behind every process of waste management. So there's a lot of opposition from the Public Health Act. Outlawing recycling of wastewater, outlawing discharge of water into the river or storm drains. And with this actually been
so the
biggest
laws are
challenge.
Sort of working against each other.
Yeah, they are working against each other. And then the third challenge is what we train in the universities. Our building economists, building scientists, engineers have been told that wastewater is something you actually think about in the last few minutes of a 100-hour project. When you're thinking about waste management, the aspect of waste management is given the shortest or the minimal attention. And most of our engineers can't actually conceptualize the idea of you recycling wastewater. When they are doing their drawings for submission, because if you are doing a big project, you have to submit drawings to the municipal or the county government for approval. They normally will not take a new idea. They will say, you go draw the old septic tank, the one we know, Then when it comes to implementing, you can do what you want.
What you want.
They don't want to move from what training they were given by their lecturers 20 years ago.
They know this new idea is viable and it's good, but no, we are used to the old one.
Yeah, bring the old one. We are used to that. We will approve for you. Then when you go to the ground, you can do your changes. Okay, there's a 25% allowance for changing buildings, but most of our builders are taking the wrong technology to the ground, and most of them are suffering. The reason why you see exhausters running up and down, they are faster, they are more than Uber vehicles, because unlike our way of managing waste has been designed to just culling the waste from one spot
to another
and leaving it there. When you go to Ruai, you find that their waste water management system actually failed, because every household is discharging chemicals into their waste, and that waste is being carried to Ruai. It kills all the bacteria. Remember, we said bacteria naturally is what God uses to manage waste. So when you kill all those bacteria in Ruai, the Ruai treatment plant discharges human waste that is not decomposed into the river, because the process must go back to the river. And that's why you're getting, as far as Thika, the waste reaching there is still black stuff that is actually undecomposed. You can even tell this from a human being. Meaning, we actually, our science is to mummify or to preserve waste in our households, and then we give it to someone to take it to
a different location. How long can we do that? How long will we sustain that?
It's not sustainable.
Yeah.
You may be surprised that out of the population of our product, we have clients like the UN, organizations in the UN who actually buy from us. We have vendors of this product to them. We are vending to other countries. Sometimes I'm selling more to other countries than locally. It's that some countries like Rwanda have actually addressed the issue of water recycling. We have countries, even in Tanzania, hotels that are progressive have a system for recycling wastewater. Our coastline, number of those hotels along the coastline, you think of them, all those five-star hotels have a system of water recycling. Many of these are actually a product of my work with my partners in the industry. They have been able to actually capture that and reuse the recycled water for greening their compound.
It's interesting you're talking about countries like Rwanda. Rwanda is actually far much ahead of us. They even have a specific day dedicated for just cleaning up the environment. Do you think we'll ever get there? That we'll find it important to stop everything and just focus on cleaning my environment for the sake of my country?
We might not get there because
Why?
Most of the time, what we plan, we have very good documents here in the university. We have very good documents at the ministry. My output, my master's thesis, someone has used it in another country to make something positive. I'm thinking of Rwanda and this country. I've been invited to Uganda for 3 conferences as a keynote speaker to help them manage waste. And for them, the Ministry of Environment there will assemble all their industry players. Think of all those people, big industries, to come and listen to what we say. But when you get back to Nairobi, we don't practice, we are not very enthusiastic at taking up new ideas.
But Rwanda, we have the ideas.
We have the idea. Actually, Rwanda, they didn't need to go to create policies for waste management. They just came to our libraries and picked what we have done, what we've written. On the plastic, ban of plastic, we had several documents, and they picked one of them and ran with it. And they banned plastic in their country before we came up with the final document, which we now are running. I've been producing plastic, I've been delivering products to Rwanda for a long time. In 2011, I could not deliver plastic to Rwanda. I could not package my product in plastic.
It was banned.
It had been banned. Yet, here in Kenya, we had already gone through 3 papers in Parliament trying to ban plastic. Why not for the Minister for Environment, Madam Judy Wahungu? who put her foot down and said, this must.
And we did it finally. Whoever thought that we could achieve that? We have been recognized internationally for that alone. For banning plastic. It's really a step in the right direction. So, what lessons are we learning from this, though, when it comes to implementing some of these policies and interventions in, management of waste? Having achieved and successfully banned plastic in our country, what is it teaching us about the possibility of the future?
I feel proud that we were able to do that. Actually, I was part of the National Steering Committee on the ban on plastics. Did a lot of materials on videos on what the impact of plastic on our livestock was in a slaughterhouse. We had a cow carrying 43 kgs of plastic in their stomach. So I really appreciate that we're able to do this, but it also tells us that we can actually lead the world. We should never forget that the United Nations Environment Programme, the office that manages waste in the world, actually is domiciled in Nairobi. And so we have the benefit of being in the kitchen, where laws about environment.
Do we take advantage of that?
We don't. That's a funny part of it, because we have not been using that as a platform for actually being the first out in the field to actually implement those policies. But I've worked with a number of the UNEP people. I'm in the, what we call, we are setting the scorecard for the Sustainable Development Goals. A scorecard that's the goal number 17, where we will be able to score which countries in the whole world against the goals they have set. That gives us an opportunity to actually put Kenya ahead of the other countries. Because if we know the sustainable goal for sustainable communities and cities is that we should recycle about 75% of that water. Wastewater, we should actually implement it as soon as tomorrow. Then we have the fortunate ability to do what I'm doing. And this technology actually, being Kenyan, we have sold to many countries, including the Americas. I have actually handled LPUs from as far as the Americas, buying our product and using it for what we are proposing. We have the opportunity to actually push this agenda of wastewater recycling and giving it that commercial look, because to what extent are you, planning to nationalize this? Is there a partnership, that strong partnership that would really see this become the solution for the future? Is there something happening in terms of even training other people in different areas to have that knowledge so that it's not centered around one region? Exactly. The first part is that the Minister of Water under the, that's 2019, actually gave us an award. The word we showed earlier. Yeah, by the way, let's we showed it, but we just want to really make noise about this. I said when I was introducing him, I told you he's an award-winning environmentalist, and as you tell us more about that award, Ecosafi, I just like if you can get a clip of it, just to see this particular award. So when was this, and why did you get recognized? In the October of 2019, the Minister of Water ran a competition, worldwide. It is an international competition on the best technology that would help us adapt to climate change and improve sanitation. When we presented our paper, someone very clever noticed that our product did not require mechanization. For you to treat wastewater to quality that it can be recycled, you didn't require mechanization. You don't require electricity. That we are able to eliminate methane gas from the process of waste management. Not even the Americas, not even Europe has achieved this. We were able to do this with a very basic approach to waste management. And that's why I'm saying, when we did that, other countries, about 9 countries have actually bought from us. They then, after reviewing our work, were able to give us the first position, this is the award, first position for outstanding innovation in the international category on wastewater management.
So the award is about an outstanding innovation.
First position for outstanding.
It's actually first position.
Yeah, you'll not go to another country, I don't want to mention country, you'll not find it. A level of that kind of technology that we have done. It was also given the first position for outstanding innovation at the international category, because it was not a local competition. We actually competed with more than 67 countries, and that's what we are given. Besides that, now that we have the award on our shelf, there's something else the government has done, and this is now about fast-tracking the technology to the market. The Kenya Climate Change Innovation Center, which is domiciled at the Strathmore University, appointed us for mentorship. They are incubating, this technology is being incubated by the government of Kenya for national usage. We are in the process. We are about 7 months now since the incubation started, and it should end sometime later this year. It means, therefore, that our technology is going to have a seat in the highest offices possible. We are going to give this as Kenya to the rest of the world, and they are going to pick it as a way of climate change innovation adaptation. And that's a product from Ecotrade.
And it's just a product that has been birthed by one of our own right here in our country.
Exactly.
Yeah, having won an award, that is really something. Congratulations. It's really showing that, you know, we have people who are doing very great things to you know, sort of provide solutions for some of the challenges we are facing as a country. And I just want us to talk about the future, what lies ahead. Before that, I have a few questions from some of our viewers here online, and I saw one earlier. I hope I can still find it from there was one of our viewers called Michael. Yeah, Michael is asking whether it is safe to use a biodigester. I don't know where this is coming from, but you can also just shed some light on that. Is it safe?
Thank you. I know what Michael is referring to. Michael is referring to a small unit that's normally constructed to manage waste. Mostly, it's used for emergency sites. Like if you are going for a camping, over the weekend camping in Masai Mara, and you don't want your waste to become a nuisance, you do what's called a small biodigester. It's something that maybe 1 cubic, that's 1,000 liters, and it's supposed to be only for emergency. You use it only for emergency, like when you're going for a camping. If you're in the temperate region, like in Europe, during summer, most of the ice caps melt, and so people venture up there. A biodigester is used for managing waste. But in our way of making things easy for us, you know, we try to make things smaller for ourselves. We have adopted this as a way of managing waste. You go to Karen and someone has a 50 million worth of a house, but the waste management process is 70,000. It's carried in a pickup, installed. But what's the greatest disadvantage of this system is that it is an anaerobic process. It generates methane gas, it breathes through your compound, and the place starts smelling. It has a failure rate of between 3 to 5 years in a domestic setup. But if you use it for the flats in Milwaukee, it will not even do 3 months. But our people have already adopted that technology. And
that is what they go for.
That's what is.
So what would you recommend?
We should go back to the university, take the books, the building code, and make it climate proof. We climate proof our wastewater management system. Number one, we know that that small unit is generating methane gas. So do away completely with that biodigester that is anaerobic, that has no oxygen allowed into the system, and do away with it. Then abandon use of small units, because the person who has done a building worth 70 million could still do another unit for treatment, wastewater treatment that's 4 million, and they recycle that water, and for the next 100 years, they use that water for greening the environment. So it's not a panacea. This small unit, we are calling it biodigester, isn't a solution to our wastewater management. I already said that I'm in standard making process at the KBC. The biodigester has not even brought its, the name to be known there. We've not had even a single discussion on how to standardize biodigesters. Everybody does his version. So there's no standards for it, sorry.
So the sector still needs to be regulated?
Completely. But we have taken all our efforts into different direction. Everybody is building is doing a biodigester in spite of the disadvantage. And your neighbor already is suffering because he's done 6 months with it and it's failed. What would you persuade you to do the same, knowing that your neighbor is actually exhausting? Because when you exhaust, everybody knows you're exhausting because the place smells. Ask him whether he went wrong, and if he's good enough, he'll tell you biodigesters are not the way to manage waste. A small modification of the same unit, capacity-wise, even with the NEMA, we've been given standards, guidelines on what to do when you want to do wastewater treatment.
All right. I understand, Michael. I believe you have been answered there. And of course, another one, Christine Onyango, she wants to know where can I use the Ecotrade product? Like which places?
Ecotrade will be used in your domestic setup, your pit latrine in the rural, a pit latrine for a school or marketplace. You can also use it for a small septic tank for a family of 5. You can use it for community of 3,000 people, or 3,000 units, houses, like we've done in the river. We've set a system somewhere in the river where they treat waste for 3,000 households, and the water coming out is clean enough to go to the river. We can also do for a municipality. We do industries like vegetable refining industries, sugar millers, or this anywhere where this organic, what we call organic waste, our product can be used. But for Christine, a small package of maybe 500 grams of our product will sort you for 1 year to 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
At how much?
At a cost of about 2,000 shillings.
Okay.
So it's
all
not
right.
a cost center, it's actually, we're bringing it as a solution to help us and our children live in this world as better citizens.
All right. That is Daniel Wanjuki. Daniel actually has just been shedding light on some of the ways in which we can better manage our environment. And that is just touching up on our topic that you were discussing this particular morning, that is managing waste. And he's really done quite a number of efforts in just making this happen. He's actually, he has invested time, research and effort in this, and he recently just got an award, an international award for that. Just tell us a bit about that. Now we have it, you can clearly see it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, for the viewers to see. Just to recap, how do you feel, having been recognized for your efforts to conserve the environment?
Thank you. After having learnings with the lecturers who told me that this was a bad idea and that it was going to increase pathogenic bacteria that can cause diseases, after me going back to study deeper on this, then getting a break into the market and also solving problems with slaughterhouses, sorting out piggeries, having really improved the sanitation in schools, and now having the platform to actually go to the world and give them a solution. I really feel proud. Actually, it was an award that actually culminated into that self-realization that, this was not in vain. I really appreciated that. The Ministry of Water really saw through there were many proposals and stuff, but they saw the potential in what we were proposing.
When you look at it, does it give you a greater sense of responsibility?
It does, and I'm proud when I deliver consign products to other countries. And I say, okay, we're giving back to the world something that's better than they can have from their own side. And this actually gives me that satisfaction that my country has actually supported me. That now we are with the Climate Change Innovation Center, and they are packaging this product for use in the whole country. We could find the way you use salt for seasoning food, we could be using Ecotrade as the only waste management project.
All right. Yeah. Daniel, I want you to, we're just about to wrap up this conversation, but I want you to take a few minutes to just talk to Kenyans this morning about the need for us to reinforce our efforts when it comes to conserving the environment. What do we need to know? What do we need to start doing? And what is it that we need to stop doing going forward?
Thank you. We have a unique opportunity as Kenyans to improve on our environment. We have been told that some of the things we do are costing us in terms of diseases. For example, when you discharge wastewater and release it to the environment, even with COVID, yet we are told that some countries are tracing COVID from their sewage. It means that even if you wear your mask, there could be other risks that could come your way by you disposing waste improperly. I am proud to have this impacted on the waste management procedure, and I have given this as my solution to waste management. Let you use our product in a smaller way to prevent the formation of methane gas from your toilet. Let your septic tank not be a contributor to waste management or to global warming. Let that water that is in your compound be recycled for greening the compound. You don't need to get water from the Kaine or your tap water to water your fence. If you could adopt technologies that help you recycle wastewater, give it another value, and use it for improving the environment, you have really helped ourselves and the generations to come. I am proud that about 4 months ago, we were able to clean up Nairobi River by introducing our product. And we eliminated the bad odor that used to come from areas between the Museum Hill and the Globe Cinema. And many people who have visited the park actually have tested that the place does not smell. So we are able to do that for your domestic setup, for your municipal system. For the livers, we are actually able to go across the board and give you a product that can actually improve the environment by so much more than at a very low cost.
All right. Well said, Daniel Wanjuki. We really appreciate you creating time for us and, just shedding some light on what we need to do in terms of conserving the environment and also opening up our minds on some of the innovations that are coming up with regards to wastewater management. Congratulations for your work, by the way, and keep doing what you're doing for the country. Yeah. Of course, that marks the end of our program. We are now going to be handing over to the Swahili version of the program, Tamrini. Nancy Okware will be taking you through that. My name is Serfine Achieng Ouma, and our sign language interpreter has been Simon Karotha. We are now going to just hand over to stay with us. Enjoy the rest of your viewing.
Thank you.